this is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed human.
Hey folks, owning a home means one thing. Something's gonna break. AC, plumbing, fridge, and it's never convenient or cheap. That's where American Home Shield comes in. An AHS Home warranty can help protect your wallet from pricey breakdowns on even your oldest appliances and systems. And if they can't repair the covered item, they'll replace it. So check out American Home Shield and get 20% off any plan at ahs.com/SYSK and see promo details. See ahs.com/contracts for coverage details, including service fees, limitations, and exclusions. American Home Shield. Don't worry, be warranty.
Hey, and welcome to The Short Stuff. I'm Josh, there's Chuck, and we've got Jerry all wrapped up. So that means this is an episode of Short Stuff. Yeah.
That's right. I don't know why I thought of this. I don't know. Maybe I was listening to Quiet Riot or something, because the idea of straitjackets popped into my head. Mm-hmm. And I was just wondering, I was like, you still see that stuff in TV and movies.
Yeah.
But I was like, is that still a thing? And it turns out not so much.
No, not so much. How Stuff Works did an article recently on straitjackets. And I also saw a really good article on a site called History Hit, which I hadn't heard before, but a guy named Kyle Hoekstra wrote about him. And essentially,
part of this came from How Stuff Works, a little bit of it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I thought I recognized that. So straitjackets came around in the Georgian period, way more recently than I thought. Some people say about 1770, around then. And they're exactly what we think of them today, which is they were used to prevent people with severe mental illness from harming themselves and others by preventing them from moving their arms. They could still throw their torso at you, but they couldn't strangle you or smack you or punch you or choke you or anything like that, because their arms were tied around their back through these overly long sleeves that were attached to a jacket, hence the straitjacket. Very tightly. That's where the word straight comes from. Yeah,
exactly. Straight as in A-I-T.
Yeah, straight-laced, meaning tightly drawn or tight-fitting.
Yeah, not straight as in straight and narrow.
No, and not straights like Ludacris's old restaurant in Atlanta.
I didn't know he had one.
Mm-hmm. They had a dessert that was chocolate soup, which from what I could tell is just watered down chocolate.
The Falcons have season tickets, and they have different themes usually. Mm-hmm. And one week it was the history of hip hop. And so there was all kinds of people that came out and sang during the breaks and stuff, timeouts. Mm-hmm. And at one point, Ludacris came down from the ceiling of Mercedes-Benz Dome.
Nice.
Strapped into a thing.
A straitjacket?
With a GoPro on a selfie stick.
That's awesome, man.
Hundreds of feet in the air. It was pretty amazing.
I would have lost my mind with fear had it been him.
Oh, we were all pretty delighted. So straitjackets have sort of risen and fallen in lockstep with the what they used to call, insane asylums. We don't use that term anymore, but these asylums really grew over a couple of hundred years in the 17th and 18th centuries. And in lockstep, so did the use of straitjackets. They were heavily used for a while, like you said, just to keep people from hurting themselves or others. And their rationale at the time was sort of like, hey, listen, at least you can move around. We're not chaining you to a bed or something like that.
Yeah.
So you can get up and walk around at least. It's a little more humane than the alternative. But things started to change as things changed in how we looked at treating mental illness.
Yeah, and one of the things, there was actually a strange turning point where they started to go out around the time that King George III of England, who was running the show when the American colonies declared independence and fought England for independence and won, by the way. He was there was a very famous movie and I believe book called The Madness of King George.
Great movie.
I had not seen it, but I do know that he was considered barking mad, as they would have put it back in the day. Mm-hmm. He had, they're not quite sure what he had. They think possibly even had a metabolic disorder called porphyria and wasn't mentally ill at all, but these were just symptoms of porphyria. He could have also had severe mental illness, but he was confined in a straitjacket, very famously, by his doctor, Francis Willis. Francis Willis also seemingly cured George III too, and very publicly so. And so King George III represented the end of straitjackets because he also represented the beginning of the concept, at least in England and the colonies, that mental illness could in fact be cured. And that created a revolution in how we treated the mentally ill from that point on. It all pivoted in one king.
Yeah, you should totally see that movie. It's great.
Okay.
Like capital G great.
Who's it, David Keith?
No, Nigel Hawthorne is King George. And
Keith
I think
David?
Ian Holm is Dr. Francis. Helen Mirren's in it. It's really, really good.
Okay, I'll check it out.
So in the 1910s, of course, is when we saw the straitjacket worn by Houdini as a way to do a stunt in full view of the audience rather than holding a curtain up. Mm-hmm. But his brother, actually, Theodore Hardeen, used the straitjacket before Houdini, evidently, and I think Houdini might have ganked that from his bro.
Yeah, we did a whole episode on Houdini.
It was a good one.
It was. Speaking of good ones, I say we take a message break.
Let's do it.
Well, now, when you're on the road, driving in your truck, why not learn a thing or two from Josh and Chuck? It's stuff you should know. Stuff you should know. All right.
Hey, everybody, we're here to talk to you about Wayfair, who believes that spaces should be functional, they should be comfortable, they should be well-designed, and they can be well-designed by you with their help.
Your updated space should feel more comfortable, inviting, and practical for everyday use. And we're talking about outdoor seating. We're talking about grills. We're talking about major appliances. If you need storage solutions, Wayfair can help you out. Patio lighting, rugs, decor. It is your one-stop shop for home.
Yeah. I mean, it's getting nice out, so it's time to think about living outdoors for the next few months. And Wayfair knows that outdoor furniture, it's heavy, it's intimidating to assemble. So Wayfair has stepped in and said, we're going to handle the hard part so you don't have to.
That's right. You can shop Wayfair Verified, your shortcut to the good stuff. And that means their team of product specialists are going to vet everything by hand using a 10-point inspection, testing things like, quality materials, functionality, and features, and even how long it takes to build that piece of furniture. And the overall experience save time, reduce hassle, and improved convenience.
Patio season is here, and these deals won't last. So head to wayfair.com right now to get your outdoor space ready for way less. That's WAYFAIR.com.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Introducing the all-new Mazda CX-5, featuring more connection.
Hey Google, where's the nearest Pilates class?
Safety that has your back. More discovery on the scenic routes. More passion in the details. And more control in changing weather. The all-new Mazda CX-5. More to move every side of you. See it in 5 films at MazdaUSA.com/5sides.
Google is a trademark of Google LLC. Sequences shortened and simulated.
So these days, if you're not watching movies or television, where you still see tons of straitjackets, you're probably not going to see them used much at all. They are pretty outdated. Now we have all kinds of different things, from better treatments, better medication, better techniques, more staff. The idea of just sort of the idea of restricting someone's liberties by physically restraining them like that is just sort of an outdated way to look at stuff. They can also be deadly. I think there was a case in 1829 at Lincoln Asylum where someone actually strangled themselves with their straitjacket.
Yeah, they were strapped to the bed in a straitjacket and left overnight. And when they returned, they had strangled themselves or had been strangled by their straitjacket overnight. And all the way back in 1829, this asylum, Lincoln Asylum, banned the use of straitjackets. So even as far back as that, within a few decades of their invention, they already had a bad name as being dangerous, despite being considered a more humane alternative to chaining somebody, which it was, you could say. But yeah, like you said, we now have different techniques to, we do have physical restraints still. They're usually super fuzzy wrist and arm restraints, but they use those as a last resort.
Right.
If a patient this is the United States, I'm not sure about some of the other countries that hear us, but in the United States, if a patient is dangerous or presents a clear danger to themselves or to other people, you can against their will, inject them with the sedative to restrain them. So it's chemical restraints.
Mm-hmm.
Or we also have different non-confrontational techniques. And I looked that up because I was curious what that amounts to. And it is the most like low-hanging fruit that apparently works. If a patient is agitated, you get them away from whatever's agitating them. And then you ask them what's wrong. What can I do to help you? What do you need to feel better about things? And that this works. You just take them to a low sensory environment and just talk to them like a human being. That's the new technique now instead of straitjackets or chains.
Yeah, because I imagine being approached by like 3 big dudes holding up a straitjacket is not going to lower the temperature at all.
And one has a net and one has a trident.
Yeah, I mean, it really is a almost 100% a trope because like these things went out of fashion so long ago, but movies and TV just kept using that same trope because it just is such a signal for what to say what kind of person this is, which is a danger.
I think if there's any through thread to stuff you should know, and there are many, but definitely that we've been grossly misinformed and misguided by TVs and movies over the years, it's definitely a thread of stuff you should know.
Yeah, for sure. There is a company, and I don't know if this might have been from the How Stuff Works article, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But there is a company in Waunakee, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, Wisconsin, called Humane Restraint. And I read that the first 12 times as Human Restraint, which I thought was the worst funny name for a company that did this.
Sure.
But it's actually a great name because it's Humane Restraint. It's a company that makes this stuff. Did you go to the website and look around?
No, but I did look up suicide smocks.
Well, just peruse Humane Restraint, the website, at some point, because it's just one of those things where you are sort of shocked to realize that there are, of course, a company makes this stuff. This company makes all the bed restraints. They make the safe furniture that you can't like hurt yourself on.
Gummy furniture.
They make the suicide smocks, which is you can't like roll them up like to hang yourself or tear pieces off or whatever.
No, it's a dress made out. It's a gown made out of a moving blanket.
No, I know, but the whole point is you can't roll it up and use it as a noose or tear it.
No, I know. It makes total sense, but it's made out of moving blanket material.
Yes, exactly.
For sure.
And the company that makes these make less than 100 straitjackets a year. They're called Humane Jackets on the website. And if you were to hazard a guess how much they cost, what would be your guess? Nice leather strapping.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, looks top of the line stuff. Canvas, of course.
$1,700, Drew.
My friend, you can get a Humane jacket for $225.
What?
Yeah, it was much cheaper than I thought.
Wow, that's probably pleather then.
It may be, but they had it's just an interesting website to think that, wow, there's a company that just makes this stuff. Mm-hmm. But like what a market to corner. I think the interesting thing is they interviewed someone from there and they were like, hospitals aren't buying these anymore at all. Obviously, we sell maybe 100 of them a year, and 100% of them are to jails and prisons.
Yeah, that's the depressing fact of this podcast.
Totally.
In 2014, a group called the Treatment Advocacy Center said that pointed out that jails and prisons house 10 times more seriously mentally ill people than state psychiatric hospitals do. And the reason why, that's a little bit of a 3-card Monty move right there, because there are no state psychiatric hospitals anymore because of Ronald Reagan.
And of course, the reason they're also using straitjackets is because they're not hospitals and they don't have to play by the same rules of humane treatment. So you could still be in a prison, and if you're a danger, or they deem you a threat, or whatever, they can put you in a straitjacket.
So Chuck, I'm a rocker, and I really loved your Quiet Riot reference. Who else has worn straitjackets in the music industry over the years?
Well, my friend, you and I saw Alice Cooper in concert together in person, so we know Alice Cooper does.
Yeah, thanks to an invitation from Hurricane Nita herself.
That's right. Who else?
Johnny Rotten very famously wore one in the God Save the Queen video, the Sex Pistols.
Yeah, and Quiet Riot. That Quiet Riot wasn't even in that article that I found that mentioned these others.
No. But they just...
Right there on the cover.
You did some excellent extra research. You got anything else?
I got nothing else.
Well, then Straitjackets is out.
Stuff You Should Know is a production of iHeartRadio. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.